Yesterday, I said ASAP Rocky may be the dumbest person on the planet. Today, I'm here to confirm that there's no question about it. He is the dumbest person on the planet. Two things: like and subscribe, please. And secondly, my eyes are so red, not because I'm high, as many of you have pointed out in my DMs. It's because of the smoke in LA. It's that bad. But anyway, um, ASAP Rocky, dumbest person on the planet. His trial started today, and I'm telling you, he's getting convicted, and it's going to be quick, and it's stunning. It's stunning because he's so guilty. It's not even, you don't even have a plausible story. I'm going to give you three real reasons why he's getting convicted. And, and if he doesn't, I hope he doesn't, great, whatever. But my premise yesterday, and it's the premise every day, and you have to take life as it comes at you. You have to make decisions. You have to be flexible. You may be the most innocent person in the world. But if you're looking at 20 years and there's zero chance you have a fair jury, take the plea deal. Take the plea deal. In this case, the as I said yesterday, take the 180 days, which would be in LA County Jail, which would literally be at the most 5 days in jail, which wouldn't be because he'd go to private jail. ASAP Rocky has decided to proceed to trial in large part because, and this is what I say over and over, his lawyer is utter shit. Horrible, horrible lawyering. One thing that happens with people who are successful, I know some very successful people. Some of them are successful because they believe in the facts. They want the facts. They want the evidence. They want things to be true and accurate. Other people are successful because they've been given something or because they've become successful and then subsequently they now want only people telling them what they want to hear. In this case, ASAP Rocky's lawyer is telling this guy, I guess, what he wants to hear, which is you're not going to be convicted. He's 100% going to be convicted. And you can know because here's reason number one, ASAP Rocky's going to be convicted. His lawyer, Joe Tacopino, is already making excuses. Already making excuses, or he is now just realizing that this idea, whatever theories he had on his case, are weak. His first thing he was complaining about, there are 106 jurors, potential jurors, and only 5 were African American. Welcome to the real world, Joe Tacopino. If you're black or brown, this idea that you're going to have a multicultural jury is zero. There will be one, maybe 2 people of color on that whole jury. Guess what that means? It means that your African American client who has questionable legal background. I mean, he was convicted of beating up some guy. This guy is going to have his story heard by a bunch of white guys. Bunch of white guys who are going to be against him. Those are just the facts. Anybody who tells you differently doesn't know what they're talking about. This is my point. This is one of my key points, which is know your jury. You have a jury that's going to be all white people, and they're going to be against a person who they're going to view as a rapper or a gangster rapper, which will come. That's what's happening. So Joe Tacopino starts out his trial with complaining about the jury pool, which had he done any investigation, he would have known. And this is what you guys should know. This idea, juries are almost exclusively Caucasians, particularly in LA, particularly if the prosecution wants them to be. This idea of due process doesn't exist. 99% of people are convicted. It's because the system is rigged. So the fact that in the city of LA that you walk out and you only have 5 African American jurors, that's how the prosecution wanted it. They control everything. This isn't new. This isn't new, and it isn't news. One of the problems ASAP Rocky has is he got a lawyer from New York as opposed to one from LA. Alan Jackson, the watch the Karen Reed trial, and you'll see the difference between a lawyer from LA and a lawyer from New York who doesn't know that you're not getting a favorable jury pool. Number one, your lawyer knows you're going to lose. Number two, and this is a part that I see all the time. I see people believe that if they have a story, if they can concoct a story of any sort, well, that's what it's going to be, and the jurors are going to believe me. That's horseshit. Their defense is this. I mean, I'm telling you, it's absurd. Their defense is that A$AP Rocky did shoot a gun, but it was a starter pistol that he carried around all the time. He just carried it with him, just had a starter pistol. This is a problem because for two reasons. One is there's a picture of A$AP Rocky holding a 9mm gun, the same type of gun that it is alleged that he shot at this person. So this trial, in which he could be home by now, this could be over. A$AP Rocky could be home, nothing going on, has now begun under the premise of A, you're going to have no black jurors or very few, and B, you have your seminal story that there was a shooting and your client A$AP Rocky was there at the scene of a felony. He did point a gun and he did shoot a gun. All true, that your lawyers are going to sit up and say is true, but your argument is going to be, oh, but it was a starter pistol that he carried all the time. Jurors are not stupid. Jurors are not stupid. It's just the truth. If you have a plausible story, I think some jurors are willing to listen. But if you have a story that isn't believable from the start, you're going to lose. This is utter absurdity. And this is what happens where people get a level of success and they don't want to be told the truth. What should happen in this case, and I'll say it, A$AP Rocky, you're a fucking idiot. Take the deal. Go live in your mansion. You're going to get convicted. No one's going to believe your story. Or even if they are, the risk associated with your story is too great. You're looking at 20 years in the pen. You're not believable. Your story's not believable. And you're not testifying. Because your lawyer says you're not testifying. How are you going to explain away you and your buddies beating up someone on the street? It's not going to happen. Take the deal. Your central premise. Yes, because, and by the way, the central premise that comes from your lawyer standing up in court and admitting you were at the scene of a felony involving the shooting of a 9mm gun. And there's a picture of you at the scene with a 9mm gun. That is an absurd, stupid, dumb story, and nobody's going to believe it. Nobody's going to believe it. And if they are going to believe it, the likelihood of success is what? 10%? 10%? You're going to have an all-white jury, roughly an all-white jury. They're not going to, and you're going to walk in and say, oh, but believe me, trust me, this was a starter pistol. It wasn't and yes, this is a 9mm gun in my hand. Now, of course, you're not going to say that because you're not getting on the stand. That's just your lawyer running his mouth. That premise that you want your defense, your central defense, that you are willing to turn down, not spending 1 second in prison to risk going to prison for 20 years, your central defense, the premise that, yes, I'm at the scene of a felony, yes, I'm discharging a firearm, but it's a starter pistol, is fundamentally flawed. You are being told something that's stupid. Listen to me. It's dumb. Don't say it. Take the deal. Here's the other part of this. Reason number 3, that you are going to prison, almost certainly, which you shouldn't do. You shouldn't do. Don't choose to go to prison, is A$AP 12E. If any of you are ever confronted with spending 5 minutes in jail and your defense is based upon a guy named A$AP 12E, come on. No one's that dumb. Here's dumb premise number 2. Their defense to buttress the starter pistol argument? Well, they're calling ASAP 12E, of course. You know ASAP 12E. ASAP 12E is a person who was at the scene of the felony too, who now claims, it's happened in 2022, 3 years later, says, oh, you want to know why we know it was a starter pistol? Because ASAP Rocky always carried a starter pistol. I mean, it's absurd. This guy's going to get in the stand and he's going to get destroyed because here's the cross-examine. Now, Mr. ASAP 12E, you've never told this story to anyone else in the previous 4 years. You didn't, 3 years. You didn't say at the preliminary hearing. There's been no statement. It's literally the day before trial that, oh, you know what I remembered? I remember that ASAP Rocky always carried a starter gun. That's what he did. And in fact, I remember that's what happened that night because I was there. ASAP Rocky pulled it out and shot it. He didn't even aim it at this other guy. The other defendant, by the way, is an ASAP someone too. He didn't point it at him. He pointed it in the air. Okay, so again, another witness testifying in addition to ASAP Rocky's lawyer putting his client at the scene of a felony and testifying that his or support or providing supporting evidence that if they accept the prosecution's rendition of facts, which is ASAP Rocky pulled out a 9mm and shot it, the attorney giving credence to that prosecution theory, your star witness, ASAP 12E, is going to also buttress that theory. Yes, ASAP Rocky was at the scene of a felony. And yes, he did pull out a gun that looks like a 9mm gun. And yes, he did shoot that gun that looks like a 9mm gun. But now here's the part you have to really, really believe. It wasn't a 9mm gun. It was a starter pistol. A starter pistol that I've known about the whole time. I just never said anything. During the preliminary hearing, I didn't say anything. It slipped my mind. Give me a break. This is utter stupidity. ASAP Rocky, you are going to prison under that theory. Or more accurately, the likelihood that you are not going to prison under that defense strategy is roughly 2 or 3 or 4 or 5%. Stop it. Here's the other part is you know the truth. You know the truth. You did not have a starter pistol. You would have brought it up. You would have brought this up 3 years ago. It would have been the seminal issue in every defense. You would have been showing it to people. Here's my starter pistol. That's the other part of the story. They don't have the starter pistol anymore. Huh. Utter nonsense. Nonsense. ASAP Rocky, here you are. This is the other defense. They're going to say he just wants money. ASAP Rocky's lawyers to cast accuser as money seeker in opening statements at trial. Absurd. The money, you know what the money they're asking for? Allegedly, one of their friends who was killed, ASAP Rocky didn't pay for the funeral like he said he would. Again, another fact, if it's true, why won't you just pay for the funeral? Why put yourself in this situation? You are voluntarily walking yourself into a scenario in which you could go to prison for 20 years because A, you admit you had a starter pistol that looked like a 9mm, but was really based upon you arguing with your business partner about meaningless money to bury a friend of yours. That doesn't present you in the best light. And the final point is by the way, Joe Tacchiapino, ASAP Rocky's lawyer, says he doesn't know if he's going to call Rihanna. Doesn't know if she's not a caller, doesn't know if she's going to be there. That would be the greatest act of malpractice, probably greater than concocting some stupid theory. Rihanna should sit at the front, in the front row of that trial every single day. This is LA. But of course, ASAP Rocky has a bad lawyer who just wants to be in the news. ASAP Rocky, stop it. Stop it. I'm Michael Fletcher. This is the Fletch Cast. I'll give you some more updates if they happen. And apparently there's just going to be stupidity after stupidity. Like and subscribe. And thank you.